Hey, welcome back to Being Integrated. I'm Jude. I'm a meditation teacher and also a therapist. Today's topic is about making big changes, getting over our core stuck parts. And if you're a regular, you'll notice that I've made some big changes. I'm no longer in my living room in Toronto. I'm actually extremely lucky and extremely grateful to be in Costa Rica. I've been coming down here for the past 7 years and I have some close friends here, and it's always been my dream to live winters down here because I really don't fare well in the cold. And now I'm here and it's really great. I've been living in nature. It's been extremely beautiful. And it's actually brought up all these memories of when I used to travel and I used to go to all these great, beautiful places, but I could never really feel it. I would be in the most beautiful places. I remember once I was in Cusco, Peru, and there was this beautiful sunset, and I was up in the mountains and could see the whole town, and it was all these kind of red roofs. Extremely beautiful, picturesque. There was like this feeling there, and I knew everyone else could feel it, and yet I felt completely numb. I couldn't take any of it in. There was this long, slow realization that I think I was actually depressed. That although I wasn't feeling overwhelmed by sadness or any emotions, I was really numb. I couldn't feel any good feelings. And going to these beautiful places, seeing these beautiful things, really made that so clear to me. And I almost felt like these experiences were wasted on me. That what's the point in even traveling? What's the point in even doing nice things if I can't feel them? If I enjoy sitting at home watching a TV show just as much? And that was the truth. And it was experiences like those that really illuminated the inner challenges I had and made me question what was wrong with me and made me keep exploring and going down these paths, going through therapy, going on meditation retreats. What I learned was that a lot of the therapy I was doing and a lot of the meditation retreats I was doing weren't actually getting in touch with the core issue. They weren't actually addressing what was actually keeping me stuck in the way that I was. And now through many years of meditation practice, through therapy practice, I have a much better understanding of what was happening with me, why I felt so stuck. And essentially this video is me offering that past self advice from what I've learned from how to work through those difficult times and how to open up a deeper part of myself to feel more alive. Now, before we get into it, I'm first going to say I've been working on this meditation course for ADHD. I'm really excited to offer it. It's not just for people with ADHD, it's actually for people who struggle with feelings of restlessness, who struggle with being distracted. I really feel like most of our society is challenged with the same things that ADHD people are challenged with. It's just that for us ADHD folks, it's really extreme, it's really overwhelming, and it's ever present. It's every day. So if you are someone who's challenged with distractedness or restlessness in the body, or just this inability to really calm down, to really feel this inner sense of peace and restfulness, what the course is about is learning how to get truly settled. And it's working with our body sensations, working with the feelings in the body, working with that restlessness or distress, but it's also working with our thoughts, noticing our thought patterns and getting to the root of the thought patterns, and then noticing how the thought patterns and how the body sensations or feelings interact with each other. So it's actually probably going to be about a 6-module course. I'm still figuring it out right now, but if that interests you, there's a link in the description to sign up for my newsletter where you'll get a free meditation that you can do right away. It's a guided practice I did for working with restlessness and dis-ease in the body, just working with our general distractible nature. But you'll also get updates on the course that I'm working on. I'm going to make it very affordable and I'm putting a lot of work into it, and I'll be giving away a lot of free content along the way. So if that interests you, if that resonates, please sign up for the newsletter. I promise I won't share your email or do any annoying things, and you could always unsubscribe if you're not digging it. But to get back to this topic, which is very much related, of this feeling of stuckness, this feeling of numbness in the body. And what I've learned is that my whole life I have been habitually contracted. So you can think about these two principles, this expansive principle, the feeling really open and alive, or the contracted principle, which is feeling very defended and small. If we're a highly sensitive type, which I am, we're more likely to be contracted because things are overwhelming. The world's overwhelming. Experiences are overwhelming. People can be overwhelming. So if you grew up and you're highly sensitive, there's a good chance that you ended up very contracted. You ended up maybe slumped shoulders, maybe avoiding people, and probably dissociating from or repressing your feelings. When we do this habitually, it becomes essentially locked in our system. And if you've experienced this, it can feel extremely stuck. It can feel like a brick wall. Any effort to change it can feel totally futile. And what I did was I really tried to change it. I really pushed up against it. I did, kind of hardcore things like long meditation retreats, intense group therapy stuff to try to really shift this inner experience. And I did have some breakthroughs along the way. It's not that those things didn't have a lot of value for me, because they did, and they've especially informed the way I practice. I learned a lot through those experiences. But what I'm going to give you now is the essence of how to really overcome that. And we're all unique. We all have different challenges. We all have different ways in which we experience the world and react to it. And so it's not that this is going to be the perfect practice for everyone. But I do think the principle of this practice is very relevant and is something that is very worthwhile to contemplate and probably practice if this type of thing resonates with you. What we're going to essentially be doing is looking for this feeling of contractedness, or the feeling of dis-ease or restlessness or numbness. We're going to be looking for how we experience this. What is the part of ourselves that annoys us, that we don't like, that we have maybe this resentment or avoidance of? So we're going to look for that. And what we're going to do is we're going to deeply acknowledge it. We're going to open to it. We're going to allow ourselves to really feel it without trying to further contract around it. Part of the fear here is that, if we open to this, or if we accept it, or if we, start to like it, then it might become more stuck in our system. But the reality is it's already stuck in our system. And the habitual avoidance of it creates more contraction. Us not wanting to go into it just keeps it contracted. And going in and exploring it and really opening it to it and acknowledging it and even welcoming it is what creates the expansiveness in our body, which allows this thing to emerge, which allows the layers to come off. And if this is something really big, if this is something that's really stuck in you, then it may take a while. You don't want to set your expectations high on doing this one practice. You may get some insight, or there may be some little shift through this practice. But if not, that doesn't mean that it's not effective for you. It could just be that you're not quite ready. Your body doesn't quite feel safe to open to these parts yet. So it's really about finding your own way. If this really speaks to you, if you intuitively feel this is something that may be helpful for you, then you may want to practice it regularly. But if this isn't the right thing for you, then keep exploring and look for, one, what will make you safe to really feel? What type of environmental situation or what kind of relationship will make you feel safe to go deeper into your feelings and put words to them, express them to other people? These are great ways of helping things move internally. But the other thing is, there's the right timing for us. So it's not just about how can we blast through these barriers. It's also about, what do we really need right now? And this is something we should be asking ourselves and really feeling into. What do we really need? And it's not always time for us to confront or try to explore or open to the deeper feelings. Sometimes we want to, what we call, build more resources first. We want to find more stability in our life. I'm a real big believer that nobody knows as much about us or what's best for us as we do. And so it's learning to get in touch with that part that can sense and feel, what do we really need? And we can learn from others. We can learn from their experience. We can take information from around us and make more informed decisions, but we shouldn't look to others to make the big decisions. We should take all the information and then feel into what feels right, what feels safe, what do we feel ready for. So without further ado, we're going to get into the practice, which is opening to this part of ourselves that we usually contract around. Okay, so close your eyes if that's comfortable. We'll start taking some deep breaths. And feel the spine stretch up nice and long on the in-breath. On the out-breath, we find this quality of ease. The shoulders soften. We allow everything to be just as it is. Just finding this balance of alertness. There's this alert quality of awake awareness. And also ease, just allowing everything to be as it is, not trying to change anything. There's this full acceptance of the moment. We're just going to feel into the body and just notice what sensations are present. Just be curious, as if you're feeling your body for the first time. Can you drop all preconceptions, forget what you felt here before, and just notice what feelings are present in the body. What does it feel like to have a body? We want to pay special attention to the feelings down the central line, which is in the head, in the chest, in the abdomen and stomach. This is where we experience most of our emotions. And just notice, is there maybe a contracted quality, an expanded quality? Maybe there's numbness. Maybe it feels solid, or it might feel empty. There could be a vibratory sensations. It could be a heaviness or a lightness. Just be really curious about each sensation. And maybe there's some subtle sensations there you weren't aware of a moment ago. And just see if you can find a sensation that's correlated to your stuck point, to whatever you feel challenged with. For me, it's often a restlessness feeling in the abdomen. It's like vibratory discomfort there. For some people, it might be an anxiety. For some people, it might be a tightness or a knot in the back. Could be a heaviness or a numbness somewhere. So just explore and see if there's a sensation in the body that correlates to something that you feel stuck in or challenged with. And we're just going to continue a nice, soft, gentle breath. And breathing into the space that you've chosen very gently, not trying to force anything, but just allowing the breath to soften. We're going to see if we can just accept this piece, the sensation, this thing that we're normally avoiding, or that we have maybe some resentment towards, and see if we can just welcome it, meeting it as if it's an old friend that we care about very much. Can we essentially open our hearts to it, like we open our heart to a close friend? And the main thing here is really deeply acknowledging this part. We're so used to trying to avoid or stifle this part. What happens if we really welcome it and really see it, really allow ourselves to feel it? If this part could speak, if it had a voice, what would it say? What is this feeling saying? For me, the restlessness is often saying something's wrong. But what is your feeling saying? It might be hard to stay with the feeling, to really continue to feel it. Our habitual avoidance patterns, our distractibility may kick in. So we're going to try some mantras or affirmations to continue to connect to it and really acknowledge this part. So you can repeat after me out loud or in your head, whatever's comfortable. But just say to this part that you're working with, this feeling in the body, say, I see you. I hear you. I am here with you. I see you. I hear you. I am here with you. You can try bringing a hand to this part of the body if that's comfortable. Again, tuning into the feeling. Just noticing if it's changing, but not trying to change it. Really just welcoming it as it is. And we can try those statements again. I see you. I hear you. I'm here with you. Again, just noticing if anything is changing. Noticing if we're resisting, and that's okay. Noticing if we're becoming more contracted or maybe a little more open. Whatever's happening is okay. We don't want to judge it. We just want to notice. In the noticing, there's wisdom, there's learning, and we're strengthening this mind-body connection, allowing there to be a bit more, wisdom or intelligence around how our mind and body operate together. And let's finally try one more. See if you can say to this sensation, thank you. And just realizing that whatever this is, the contraction, it's trying to keep us safe. And it's probably kept us safe at times. And so we're just thanking it for trying to help. We just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Notice if that changes anything. And then just letting go of any intention. Coming back and just noticing how we feel in the moment. Noticing if anything's different. Some of these things may have been helpful, some of them may not have been, but it's really about finding what works for you. So just make a note. If anything felt like maybe it was on the right track, maybe it would be helpful to keep doing. And you can gently come back, open your eyes. So, how did you find that? Please let me know in the comments. I know that we're really touching on big issues here, and it's often just like the first surface layer. And as we bring this openness, acceptance, as we validate the experience, it can start to open bit by bit. And over time, we can get into these deeper layers of feelings, and in that, there can be so much. But we really want to go at a pace that suits us. If we go too fast and open up the feelings too quickly, we risk getting overwhelmed and then contracting again, shutting it all back down again. So we really want to take our time, really want to honor our bodies, honor ourselves, in the sense of just respecting that these things are this way for a reason. Our body is protecting itself, and we want to respect that. So really take the time to care for yourself in this way, to feel into what feels right for me right now. Can I be with these feelings? And if there's any overwhelm, just kind of step back and find a better pace that works for you. So if you enjoyed this practice, you can subscribe to the channel. I very much appreciate that. It's very helpful. Again, you can sign up for my newsletter where I'll be trying to put out quality content, hopefully. But I am working on some stuff I'm quite excited about. So thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. And I wish you well.